Alexa, show me my baby.
Okay.
There she is.
Holy you're up. Hey, I got good news. I got 3 Nell builds for you. I know. Hey, where you going? Yo, what is going on, everybody? So as I said, I do have 3 Nell builds that I'm going to be showcasing. Before I get into these builds, I wanted to say that the mobbing build was founded by SongsOfRaze, the bossing build was founded by Sen Evade, and the support build was founded by OrneryBiscuit. I will have all their videos in the description down below. With that being said, let's get right into the video. So starting off with the mobbing build, this is what it's going to look like. We are going to focus on critical hit rate with critical hit damage, and we are also going to be focusing on cooldowns with range and skill modifier. With the skill modifier, that is the decimator mod. If you want to, you can replace this with amplification control. This is going to give you more range for axion planes. I personally would say to go that route if you're going to do axion planes, but for every other content I would just use decimator. For our trigger mod, we are going to be using power beyond. How this mod works is whenever you hit a global dot or ground dot, you are going to get a skill power increase and a skill effect range increase, while also getting the toe ability. The toe effect is essentially Lepic's third ability, if you're wondering what the toe is. There is currently a bug going on with this mod to where you do not actually need to do a ground dot to get the benefits, so just keep that in mind. If you want, you can actually use death by 1,000 cuts. This will be a good substitute for power beyond until it gets nerfed, so once it gets nerfed, you are essentially going to switch to death by 1,000 cuts. For the reactor, we are going to be using a non-attribute tech reactor. Make sure for the substats it has skill cooldown and skill critical hit damage. These are going to be the best in slot. These are going to be the best in slot substats. For the weapon, we are going to be running the Secret Garden. You can run Peacemaker. Personally, I do like the Secret Garden, but if you are someone that uses the second ability for the AoE, then definitely go the Peacemaker route, but again, it's really up to you. For the external components, we are going to be running the 2-piece Plague and 2-piece Hunter set. This is going to be the path you want to take for arcade tuning. Also, make sure for your Mutant Cell, you are using non-attribute Cohesion. This is going to give you the most skill power for your build. And then for our inversion reinforcement perks, we're going to be running Focus Boost, Delay Hardened Shell, and Selective Neural Stimulation. This is just going to give you skill cost reduction, damage reduction, and MP recovery. And then for your fellow, make sure that you are using the Hagios Dog. So now going over the boss build, we ended up swapping out Expansion and Decimator for Strong Mentality and Hyper Focus. Strong Mentality is going to make it to where we're going to be able to keep our uptime for our MP, and then Hyper Focus is going to give us a skill critical hit damage by a certain percent. Now, honestly, Hyper Focus is a little bit annoying to actually maintain or keep up unless you have a certain build, but even then it is still kind of tedious. So if you want, you can swap out Hyper Focus for Dangerous Ambush. Again, it's really up to you. You will see a slight damage decrease with Dangerous Ambush, but you won't have to worry about maintaining Hyper Focus, so it makes the fight a lot easier. For the weapon of choice, we are going to be using the Secret Garden. Not only is this going to buff our first and second ability, this is also going to give us a chance of proccing Hyper Focus. The way you proc Hyper Focus is you actually need to land a crit with your weapon. That is why we're going to be using this build right here. This is just going to focus on high critical hit rate and make sure that we can actually land those crit hits. For the external components, we are going to be running the full Enlightened Mage set. This is going to be the arcade tuning. For the Mutant Cell, make sure that you do use Final Preparation. This is going to give us the skill range that we're lacking in this build, while also giving us skill power. And then for our reactor, we are going to be using a non-attribute tech reactor with cooldown and damage to Colossus. This is going to be the most optimal substats. For the inversion reinforcement perks, we are going to be running Toxic Focus Rounds, Selective Neural Stimulation, and RK Circulation Tactics. Make sure that you actually max out the focus round tree, because when you do, you get a perk called Enhanced Focus Rounds, and this is going to pretty much reduce the attribute resistance by 4%, and this is going to stack 5 times. This is going to help out a lot with a lot of the bosses that have high resistances. And then for the fellow, again, bring the Hagios dog for survivability. Now going over the support build, this build is going to be a mixture of duration, survivability, cooldown, and range. This build is going to tie to our 4th ability. Pretty much whenever you activate your 4th ability, you're going to give your teammates a 35% weak point damage increase, which is really huge, hence why this is a support build. Now the weapon of choice we're going to be going for is actually going to be the Enduring Legacy, and this is going to be the build for it. It's a really low invest build. The reason why is because we're focusing on trying to activate our unique ability, Shred. This is going to reduce the boss's fire resistance, mainly because Serenas are using the Ancient Knight. This is going to help them out a lot. For the external components, we are going to be running the 2-set Firebrand and 2-set Hunter. This is what you're going to want for your arcade tree. Also for your mutant cell, make sure that you are using defense neutralization. The way you're going to proc this is with your first ability. This debuff can only be procced when the boss's shields are up, so make sure you're not trying to proc this when the shields go down. For the reactor, it really doesn't matter what you use as long as you have skill cooldown and duration up. For the inversion reinforcement perks, we are going to be using fire focus rounds, selective neural stimulation, and delay resident device. And then for the fellow, I do actually highly recommend that you bring the Vesper's dog. This is so you don't run out of ammo during the fight, because when you're not shooting, you're not debuffing the boss. Really quickly, I forgot to mention the substats for the Secret Garden and the Enduring Legacy. This is what they're going to be on screen. Just know that the sprint speed cores are just going to be what's most important for the Peacemaker for mobbing. And yeah, that's going to be pretty much it. These are the best 3 builds that I've seen with Nell so far. If you are struggling with gold, I will have a gold video up right now. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace.